All right, so we talked in the emergence section, well, again, not we, Russ Roberts and Don Boudreau talked about law and legislation. This is a topic that comes up on Econ Talk a lot. And what this boils down to, some fancy Latin words, is the de facto laws and the de jure laws. De jure, this is what is on paper, right? So I think I've given this example already, but I'll give it again. What is the speed limit on the LIE? Well, the de jure speed limit is 55, but the de facto speed limit is closer to 70, right? Likewise, I don't know, I haven't been on the LIE in a while. I think there used to be a sign saying minimum speed 40, but of course that's not true de facto if you're there during rush hour, right? Very often you go 0 miles an hour on the LIE. So even if the de jure says you should be going between 40 and 55, really more likely it's something like you're going 5 or 70, right? Those are the two things that we want. Well, not that we want to be here, right? I would even settle for a constant 55. But this is an important distinction, right? The world that we live in, there's often what we can see or what's written down, and there's what we're actually after. Now, a similar distinction that comes up when we're dealing with any sort of a social science question, or even if we're thinking about a lot of business questions, is a distinction between what we're trying to understand, which we might call a latent variable. This is a term that has, a technical meaning in statistics, but we're going to do sort of the intuitive idea. There's latent variables, and then there's what we can actually observe. Right, so again, thinking about information and knowledge, a lot of the times the knowledge is what we care about, right? To take a school as an example, what we can observe are things like grades. How much did you really learn is what should matter more, but that is really difficult to measure, right? It's really the basic nature of education is unmeasurable. It's a fool's errand to try and even say that grades really get at that. But maybe they reflect something. Maybe they get us close enough to be useful as long as we don't take them too seriously. Another economic example is if we think about GDP, what we're doing when we measure GDP is we say, what is the price and the quantity of final goods and services? And we add that all up, and we're basically saying, what is the area of this rectangle on all the supply and demand curves for relevant goods? But what do we actually care about as economists? We care about making wise use of scarce resources. And what that means is creating more value while avoiding opportunity costs. It's this area in here that really counts. We can't measure this though, right? How much would you be willing and able to pay for something? It's something that we can't really see. We can see how much you did pay, and we can safely guess that if you did pay, say, $5 for your leave, then you must value it at least at $5, probably higher. But how much higher? We don't actually have access to that. So this is what we care about, but this is what we can see. Now, as you can tell, they're not the same. But this might be useful. But again, it's something that we don't want to take too seriously. Let's make this one short.